Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transmissions from the Cave. My name is Saige Ryan, and I am your new host. I am so excited to be here and get started. Of course, Transmissions from the Cave is a weekly live stream talking about all things new at Mad Cave. We're going to be having the chance to just discuss stories that we love, including today, discussing Grimm Tales from the Cave with Nadia, Shammas, and Rowan Maccoll. I cannot tell you how excited I am to discuss this story. When I received this and I saw even just the synopsis of it, of discussing the inspiration from Grimm fairy tales, I was set. I was ready. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little self-indulgent, but I do feel like this was made specifically for me, of course. Let me tell you a little bit about Grimm Tales from the Cave. It features two all-original 20-page stories, one from writer Cullen Bunn with art from Andrea Muti, and the other from Mark London with art by Louisa Russo. This is Mad Cave's first ever horror anthology using Grimm fairy tales as inspiration, in addition to industry stars like Christopher Sebela, Nadia Shammas, Stephanie Phillips. This haunted anthology will feature over 10 terrifying tales, including 3 from winners of Mad Cave's 2020 talent search, which is so exciting. It's so wonderful to highlight voices. And Transmissions from the Cave here, right now, this show is going to be live every week, and it's a chance to discuss all of the new things that are coming out from Mad Cave, including things like happening this week. Battle Cats issue 2 by Mark London is out in stores this week, and next week you will be able to pick up a full volume of They Fell from the Sky by Liesl Buenaventura, which is very exciting. Y'all, thank you so much for showing up for the show today. I see so many familiar faces in the chat, and I'm so excited to be doing something new and exciting. This was such a lovely excuse to read these beautiful stories, including, goodness. Today we're discussing Hello, My Name Is, specifically from this horror anthology series. It is written by Nadia. Nadia Shammas is best known for being the writer and co-creator of Squire, which is a young adult Middle Eastern fantasy graphic novel set to be published by HarperCollins in February of 2022, which was art and co-created by Sarah Alfagi. She's also the creator and curator of Corpus, a comic anthology of bodily ailments, and her clients include Marvel, DC Comics, IDW Publishing, Scholastic, Tor, and HarperCollins. What a list, right? Like, the talent, it's out of this world. It's incredible. We are also going to be speaking today with Rowan Maccoll, an incredible artist, comic artist and illustrator. She graduated from the RISD illustration program and finds her inspiration in fantasy, mythology, and fairy tales. A perfect fit. She loves storytelling and writing and hopes to publish her own graphic novel in the future. These are two incredibly talented humans that, like, honestly, we've been sitting here on tech before the show went live today, and I was just gushing. Like, the last 15 minutes has been me gushing to these two incredibly talented humans about how much I just personally enjoyed reading their story and the absolute beautiful aesthetic of it. We're also doing a giveaway today. Hey, how very exciting for my first stream. I get to give you guys something. If you type in ! giveaway, you'll get to see a little bit more about it, but we are giving away a Grimm Tales from the Cave poster, which was designed by Andrea Muti. It is a beautiful cover. If you are a fan of horror, if you're a fan of things spooky, as your fellow spooky friend, it's going to look beautiful on your wall. We will be running the giveaway at the end of the show, so stick around. We'll pick a keyword, we'll throw it in chat, and we're going to give it away to somebody. But the information right there of just how you will enter and the requirements to do so are in chat. There's also links in chat to go and follow both of our guests today. And hey, we might as well do this. If you've never met me before, hi, my name is Saige Ryan. I'm a streamer and content creator and host, lover of all things game and nerd, and I'm so excited to be here. I am also a huge horror fanatic, so what an absolute delight to get to talk about things like this with you today. In just a moment, we're going to bring our lovely guests in. Thank you for all of the kind welcomes. The chat has been so lovely already. Can you believe it? Can I say? I'm a little nervous. Mostly because I spend a lot of time speaking by myself on things, but to bring in two people as incredibly talented as Rowan and Nadia is really exciting, and I'm very excited to speak to them. So, without further ado, I'm going to show y'all a trailer really quick while I go get Nadia and Rowan. We're going to come back, we're going to talk about their experience creating this beautiful story, we're going to talk about things like fairy tales and their career, and we'll see you all in just a minute, so stick around. And hello, we are back. This is my first time running tech on this setup, so if you're not hearing anybody well, please let me know. But welcome in Nadia, Shammas, and Rowan Maccoll. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. You've already done the work. You've made an incredible piece of art, and I'm so excited about it. And now I get the absolute pleasure of getting to speak to y'all about it. So thank you for taking the time. Y'all, when I say I shrieked, when I say at about 2/3 of the way into your story, I shrieked and I started like calling people about it, I'm not exaggerating. I had so much fun reading it. So thank you, genuinely. My first question for y'all is starting kind of at the beginning. What would be the first comic that you loved or that you found passion and inspiration in? And that can go to either of you or both.
I think I have a bit of a two-pronged answer, I guess, and the first answer is Archie comics at the grocery store, and like kind of the young like Sabrina the Teenage Witch comics that go alongside those, and then I would say that like my first like big true love was there's a comic book shop like a block away from the apartment I grew up with, and I saw these Sandman bookends. And when I was 16, I really wanted the bookends because they just looked really cool. And I was like a really gothy teenager. But then I was like, I should probably read the comic too. So I would say my first comic was Sandman and was kind of the thing that like really kind of got me in there.
That's amazing. Would you say that gothic teen angst is what led you to comics?
Yeah, I would think that's exactly what I would say.
That's
What
great.
what is a better source of inspiration than our teenage like horror obsessed selves?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
What about
yeah.
you, Rowan?
Oh, I don't have a great answer. Then a lot of manga.
That's great.
You had comic book
Okay.
shops. I had Barnes and Noble.
Okay,
Um,
no,
yeah.
here we go. Yeah, I keep
This is
whenever
too.
someone asks me the comics question, I completely forget that I spent the entirety of middle school and high school in the Barnes and Noble manga section.
You like on the floor reading through it.
I have pictures on my phone still.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you have any favorites on the manga front? Or OG
Full Metal
classics?
Alchemist is like an easy one my brain always goes to.
Yeah.
That's a crowd pleaser.
Absolutely.
Also, like it's like in like I feel like this is very much of my age, like that time. Um, we were talking earlier. You were not really on the Nadia was mentioning that you were really on the internet. Well, I was born on the internet, so I really liked webcomics.
Oh, yeah.
I was really inspired them as I was younger. A lot of like superhero comics just kind of left me cold at the time, and because like I really liked weird web comics and weird manga.
Yeah. That's
It
really
was really
wonderful.
Yeah, I also was a big Fullmetal Alchemist fan, but I think I remember for some reason the first thing that comes to my mind is like a horror manga I really loved when I was a teen was one called Higurashi.
Hmm.
And it was like basically about these people in a small town who
Oh,
like
that one.
are
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, that are like constantly by the end of the volume, like everyone in the town dies, but then it always resets, and each time it's like a
Yes, that was like one
different.
of the first time loop stories that really got
Wow.
Yes,
popular.
exactly. I that one was one that I just like would read on the floor just all the time.
I
And
want
I
to
was
say
so
there's a
excited
game
when there'd be a new
adaptation.
one.
Well, because it was originally a visual novel. It was originally a visual novel, and then it
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
yes, and then it became an anime, and then it
Uh-huh.
got certain popularity. It's like it's one of those weird things where it's like we get everything at kind of like there's a certain period I think of American manga history, I guess, where we kind of get everything at once, or we get the weird spin-offs before the actual
Before
product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar situation with Corpse Party and me. Like I remember
Yeah.
Corpse Party like watching the anime and then realizing it's a game.
It was an RPG Maker game.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, that's so funny. I haven't read or seen Higurashi, but I have played Higurashi When They Cry, the game, which is
Yes.
so
Oh
funny,
my
which I know is
god.
it's an
Yeah, see?
adaptation of an adaptation at that point.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. But it's lovely also that it's like permeated enough to like continue in other forms of media and get access to people who didn't know about it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I agree. Web comics, webtoons, things like that are such a cool medium, I'm sure, for like also giving people access to publish that haven't been able to. That's really cool. I'm sure you got so many perspectives earlier on than a lot of people that didn't grow up with those things. That's very, very cool. So, talking about Grimm Tales from the Cave, talking about Hello, My Name Is, for those who aren't familiar, what can they expect from your piece, from your book?
Green, the color green.
Well, it's an adaptation, I suppose, of Rumpelstiltskin, that takes place in a office workplace, where Rumpelstiltskin is essentially your shitty manager. So that's perhaps what to expect.
Yes.
That's an excellent pitch. If I hadn't already read it, I'd be so sold. That's all you would have to say. I
Yeah.
loved the take on it so much. I think it was so, so fascinating and so instantly relatable that I think that, and it probably shouldn't have caught me off guard. It shouldn't have. But because I think the first thing you get is this relatability in the beginning of this story of these like kind of soul sucking office spaces, my brain forgot about fairy tales for a minute and was just like, oh, I know this story. And then I was like, oh no, I know this story.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like kind of sneaks like the it kind of sneaks up on you in a really fun way.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think green is also an excellent descriptor for it. The color palette genuinely is so stylized and interesting. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
so
you very
lovely.
much.
No,
I'm
I
not good with
especially
color.
love Rowan's Rowan's designs and kind of like the 80s esque like vibes of it, which was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I think the 80s vibes of it was really interesting. It had that kind of like 80s revolutionary time of women kind of like going back into the workplace and going into the like office fields. That is so cool.
Yeah, I was trying to go for like each character because they're basically three main characters. Like each one kind of represented a different era of like corporate culture. Like
Mhm.
the main character, she's like very new. She's very early 2000. Like oh god, that's not new anymore. 2010s. That kind of like little millennial trying to like get any money that they can, any job that they can. Then there's the boss who is like the 80s, like oh like he came in like when a very different era, got on top and like kicked the ladder down for everyone else.
Mhm.
That character, sleaze bag, weird grandpa that's like always at the party that you never want to talk to, but they're always there. Um, while the manager, I was kind of going for a kind of 1950s, 1940s, sort of like the feeling like he's been a part of corporate culture since corporate culture began in America. Um, thus the pinstripe suit and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely comes across. That was so interesting. And it being Rumpelstiltskin, what inspired the choice of retelling Rumpelstiltskin? Where was the. Did you have a personal connection to Rumpelstiltskin, or was it just the idea that formulated together?
It was kind of the idea of formulated it together. When Mad Cave reached out to me, I had a few different ones in mind, and now I'm trying to even remember like exactly which ones that I was like, oh, maybe I'll play with this. But I I kind of just it kind of just sprouted where I was like, okay, if I were to do a I mean, who I've had a lot of really terrible jobs in my life. Uh, I've had a lot of really awful jobs, and I've had bosses that I've absolutely wanted to kill. And so I guess like when I was thinking about Rumpelstiltskin, I was thinking about kind of that thing about like, I guess producing. Do you know what I mean? Like this kind of task that she's given to literally turn hay into straw, and all she gets for it is basically not to be murdered. And
Yeah.
obviously she's married at the
Not
end.
not
It's
to
a
be
fairy
fired.
tale. Yeah, and like she gets married at the end because it's a fairy tale. But
Yeah.
really, the story is pretty dark when you think about kind of like what the implication is of someone turning material into material wealth for someone else. It kind of just clicked together that I was like, yep, this is what being a worker feels like. It feels like being trapped in a room making money for somebody else.
And also like
And
the
then
kind of like being basically asked to like do, I worked retail, so being asked to do like impossible tasks over and over again.
Yes. I've worked service industry, I've worked retail, I've worked in offices, like
Yeah.
I've been working since I was 14. Like, so I have had a long and storied history in the workplace, and it's all exhausting. So
Yeah, wow.
essentially, so basically that kind of theme emerged immediately, and also the theme of, almost like losing your name. Rumpelstiltskin is telling her to pick, figure out his name. But I kind of was like, the thing about these offices, the thing about these jobs is that you lose a lot of your personhood. One, because most people, customers or management, don't treat you like a person. But also just kind of like, in order to survive in those workplaces, you have to kind of strip yourself down to like be be that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not Rowan anymore. I'm the Barnes and Noble bookshelver.
Yes,
Speaking of
exactly,
jobs,
exactly.
speaking of
Like
Barnes and
I
Noble,
am, I am the barista. You know what I,
yeah,
just like so that's kind of it. I was like, it kind of came together really fast, honestly. When I thought of Rumpelstiltskin, and I was like, yeah, this is what the story is. This is what you could do with it.
Yeah, I think
it's a
that's
good
relatable for
application.
a lot of people. Absolutely. Like I said, as soon as I started reading it, I was just like, ah, I know that office. I think as soon as you get there, you picture one of these places that you've worked where you were just like a sales goal or a statistic instead of you're human, which was really interesting. Also, in it coming together really fast, Rowan, you were saying before we got started that it was really interesting how quickly you get to see kind of the finished product come together on this.
Oh yeah, well, part of it because I worked on it with Mad Cave with another book, one that I finished last summer, and it's going to be released after this anthology. This anthology is coming out in October. Nightmares of Havana, by the way, graphic novel, YA horror. That's coming out in November.
That's exciting.
Uh, yeah.
I'm sure it's fun to be able to like get that kind of quicker satisfaction of like people's response to it.
I will say being able to finish it a lot faster is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bet. So obviously you mentioned that you were kind of like approached about doing something in the theme of the Grimm fairy tales. Um, how did you get involved in general? Is it from previously working with other people that are involved? Is it something that is just kind of like you feel like was this is your genre, this was your spot for it?
Well, I'm also working on a book for Mad Cave, which I believe is unannounced thus far, but hopefully will be soon.
We love a
And I'm
secret.
still yeah, and I'm still writing it, but it is
Incredible.
also like a YA horror comedy. Um, and uh, and yeah, so I'd already been working with the Chris Sanchez here, the editor in chief, and he just hit me up and was like, "You want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, of course,
Of course.
obviously, I will. Like, it sounds perfect." So that's kind of, yeah. I'm already down with Mad Cave.
You're
Incredible.
down with the
That's lovely.
sickness.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
certainly very lucky that you are.
Thank you.
So can y'all tell me a little bit more about kind of the writing and art even? I can speak English. The writing and art process behind this book. What was the process of it coming together?
I
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I wrote the script and I sent it to Rowan, and Rowan did literal magic in like a minute, and that was it from my end.
So detached from the work. No, it's fine. Yeah, it was very much like Chris, like I mentioned before, I worked with him before, and he was like, "Hey, you do horror?" It's like, "Yeah, I do that sometimes." It's like, "Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do this?" It's like, "Sure, I'll do this."
Yeah.
And about a month later, I think a month or two later, they're like, "Nadia wrote a script." And it's like, "Holy shit, that's a script. That's a good script. I'll draw it now." There was a bunch of like, I did. There was a bit of like back and forth where I was sending you and Chris like sketches and the pencils and stuff, and that was fun. I got like getting like some that critique, not really critique, but more like feedback and kind of talking it out some aspects. And
Yeah.
then there was a lot of me at my desk at the tablet, just spinning paying the gold.
How much
Yeah.
do you feel like in that collaborative process the work changed in that kind of going back and forth from your original take on it?
I think a lot of it was uh, I think the biggest thing that I was affected by was the character designs themselves. I feel like you guys had a really good insights into it, and maybe just a more in terms of like make the boss greasier, make him look grosser. It's like cool, got it.
You nailed that. Greasy is a great word for it.
Yeah, that I was like, I just want him to look like just like
Slime
his,
ball.
yeah, just disgusting. I was like, I want him to look so like puffy and like his like too much skin for his body, and like he's got all this like the fancy suit, the big gold watch, but he's like unwashed. You know what I mean? He's just
Yeah.
like grimy, nasty dude. And yeah, I mean, for my end, Rowan, Rowan totally nailed it. I actually asked for Rowan. I
Oh
don't know
really?
if you knew that, but
No, I
I
didn't.
like when Chris asked me who do you want to work with, and your name had actually come up when we were looking at artists for my unannounced Mad Cave thing, and I think the schedules didn't work out. But then when Chris came to me with this, I was like, oh no, like then like let's talk, like this person was, I've already seen their portfolio. I'd love to,
Oh, thank
to have
you.
it.
I didn't
Yeah, so
know that.
I specifically asked for you. So so I guess I didn't really, and also when I write, I'm not very precious with my work. I can't be, because that's where good collaboration happens, when
Yeah.
when you trust your collaborator to do what. So I try to focus more on vibes and emotion when I write than like, I do my best to like put a lot of reference or like do like a lot of panel breakdowns so that it's kind of, but I kind of see those more as suggestions than anything else. As long as you get the energy, then that I'm happy with that. And Rowan got the energy, so I was happy with it. I was like, yep, that's the vibe. There we go.
It kind of reminds me, like, have you seen like the Alan Moore? I believe it's Alan Moore. Pretty strongly sure it's Alan Moore. But he would like have these long scripts of like paragraphs of description. But he kind of realized that like he had highlights the very important bits of like character A gives character B the card, but everything else would just be kind of like for atmosphere and to give the artist a good sense of like what's the feel supposed to be and what
Yes, I
details they
definitely,
include.
the third comic I ever read was Watchmen.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with it when I read it at like again age 16. So I definitely looked up Alan Moore's scripts and was like very impressed. But what I did learn was mostly what I learned was through my collaborators. Like I just tried to learn from artists what they want out of my scripts. You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
really liked your script. I thought it was a really nice balance between that kind of detail, but also giving me a bit more free reign, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I think that's where good comics collaboration happens, is just kind of in that, like, I feel like the whole comics making process is a trust fall,
Wow, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But that's so lovely. And also the fact that we got to find out live of you letting Rowan know that she was personally requested for this.
Yeah, I just realized while I was
heart.
talking, I was like, oh, I might have never mentioned it actually, but I was like, yeah.
I assumed Chris was like, "Oh yeah, Rowan probably is free, right?"
Oh no. I was like, Chris asked. I was like, oh, I remember this person's portfolio. They're really good. We should do it.
Yeah, that's very nice.
That's fantastic. Oh, how lovely. All right, well, that's all of the like really good stuff.
Okay.
Were there any obstacles or difficulties that you ran into? Was there any kind of like specifically obstacle with adapting a story that people know so well into something that is such a great original piece?
For the adapting the story point, not really, because I felt like it was really different. So I was like, there wasn't really a moment where I was like worried, I guess, that like I wasn't doing right by Rumpelstiltskin. I kind of was like,
Honoring
oh,
Rumpelstiltskin's good
yeah,
name.
was I honoring Rumpelstiltskin? I was just like, yeah, this is how I feel. I mostly was just writing it, and I was just like, this is how I felt.
I also think that there's a benefit of like now I think like people know Russell Seals and they know the guy and they know the general gist of the story, but I think not as much as the general details. And so that does give you a lot of freedom of like just as long as you get the name in there and the guy in there, you're pretty much good.
Yeah. I do remember trying to put in like putting in the thing on her desk was like a little like kind of Easter eggy, like, oh, this, remember the original,
Oh yeah,
you
I
know?
think I made a farmer bear.
Yeah, like a farmer bear with the hay. And I
Hey,
was
yeah, that
like,
was what I was going for.
yeah.
That is so clever. I'm gonna be going back and like scanning now, looking for all the Easter eggs. But do you feel like overall the process was pretty smooth of getting this one out? I know it was a pretty a quick process for y'all. Were there any obstacles that you would say otherwise in just kind of making this happen?
I mean,
On my end, it was mostly just kind of like very much. It was a pretty tight time frame for me, especially because I was also balancing other freelance at the time. I still am. I say that as though it's that changed, but no, I have a lot of balancing that I do. But there's always that always aspect of kind of scheduling and putting the right amount of time without feeling like I'm overloading myself. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
stop at 7 p.m. Don't come to work after dinner, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
establishing
I
those
get that.
boundaries. And I'm sure, as a freelancer, I totally understand that of like no one's clocking me out for the day. No one's it's not like, all right, everyone's heading home. Let's get on
The
out of
lights are not
here.
going out.
Yeah, and when getting invested in a creative project that, you love and you're passionate about, it's still important to set those boundaries so you get to keep loving them.
Mm-hmm.
And working after dinner is the best way to start hating something that you were
Yeah.
really excited about. Also, in the chat, I see Can't Wait for Your Book, Nightmare in Savannah 2, Rowan.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That is the book that I was talking about. That's coming out on November.
I am also very excited about that. That's so lovely. So, with that in mind, if, getting through it, getting through the deadline, keeping kind of those boundaries, what is the most rewarding part of the process? Whether it be on this book or on anything you've worked on in the past, is there like a part that you look forward to the most?
Being done. No. The more genuine answer. I really love it when like writers like you were very kind and like telling me how much you liked it during like the work while I was working on it, while I was sending you updates, and that always makes me feel really nice. Um, and because like especially like on the artist side, it can take so you can be you putting so much work, and it can take so long for anyone to see it. Like Nightmare Savannah, I finished that a year ago, and only people are only really seeing it in a couple of months. And so there is so like getting that like small wins when I can is kind of like keeps me going.
Yeah, I bet. And waiting for that kind of like response and feedback for people to share in your excitement. That's a long wait.
It's a long way.
That's got to be tough. And you've probably done 100 things since then. So by the time it comes out, it's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that is a thing I did, right.
Oh, I am excited about that. Does it feel a little bit like getting to get excited all over again, though?
Yeah, especially because like, hey, it's been a year. I can my harder feelings have softened a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It's very exciting also to like see it in print and see people talking about it as if it's an actual thing and not just something on my computer.
Yeah. And what about for you, Nadia, of just kind of what the most rewarding part of the process is for you?
Yeah, I haven't had any books come out yet, like full-length books. So everything I've done, it's funny, like we were talking about how long the process is, like I think one of my first books, Squire, is coming out in February 2022, and I wrote it in 2018.
Wow.
Very excited for that, by the way. But like I've
Thank
been
you, thank you.
watching the slow progress.
Yes, it has been like, I mean, it's a Goliath of a book. It's over 300 pages.
Jesus
but like,
Christ.
but like, it's sort of like these are the moments that I get to kind of, I've been writing in the dark for a very long time, basically. I've been writing professional for like 3 years at this point, and it's all been kind of, I don't know what people think of my writing. Do you know what I mean?
We'll
I just
see.
kind of am like, well, I mean, so it's very rewarding. One is rewarding just to write it and see it come together, and to, I always feel a little nose blind about my writing. So I always am like, I write it and I'm like, okay, this is writing. And then I send it over to you, to you guys, and I'm like, what do you think? And then if you guys are like, yeah, I like it, I'm like, oh, good, okay. Um, so
I am a writer. Right.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I did write, perfect. That was what I hoped for. So it's basically just like getting any kind of feedback is rewarding, but also just like, I guess, coming back to it. You know what I mean? It's like you write it, and then you have like an idea in your head of what it might look like, but then you see what the artist actually did, and you're like, oh, this is great. Like, I love, it's you watch your own work transform. You know what I mean? And that's really, really fun.
Absolutely, watching your art
Yeah.
create more art.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very lovely, and it's very exciting to put something like this out there, because even though it's, it's short, it is still very much like, hey, this is me. What do you all think? You know?
Yeah.
Here's a little piece of myself for you guys to judge.
Yeah, I know, right? I know, because like I say that like I want feedback, but then when I think about it for a second, I'm just like, no.
I'd rather not know. I'd rather not be perceived.
Yeah, like, please don't look at me.
I bet that's so nerve-wracking, especially when you've been spending all of these years with it. It's this story that's just been yours for so long. To kind of give it to the readers and give it to, I mean, everybody else who has to work on it. That must be so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and this was kind of the opposite. It was like a fun, like, it came together pretty quick. It was very fun to write, very cathartic in many ways. And uh and yeah, and it gets to be out there, and I'm like, hey, there's not so much buildup. It's just like, hey, I enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoy it. That kind of thing,
Absolutely. And as somebody, again, who has read it, y'all are going to. Very, very much. The pre-order link is popping up in chat. I hope that you have already done so in the time that we have been here. We have a few more questions, but just like, feel free to pop it open in another tab. That's all I'm saying. Because you definitely should get in
pressure.
On this.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about going and pre-ordering it, who would you say is the audience for this book? Who do you think that it's for?
The grunts of every retail job that's like but it's a very cathartic story in that respect. It is going like, it is very much us going, we see you guys, it sucks. Here's a bit of like fictional revenge for you guys.
Yeah, have you ever actually wanted to murder your boss? Pick up this book. You'll just get like one hit of serotonin after.
Yeah, that's fair.
There is like sometimes like you feel like you're kind of going insane in those kind of jobs of like, am I just being whiny? Am I just being like, am I just going insane? And my boss is totally right that they want me to do work like 7-hour shifts for like $3. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You're doing your best. We're all are doing our best.
Yeah, and the story does such a good job also of portraying the other people in this setting that have been indoctrinated into this culture of the workplace. That, like, that's, I think, one of those things that makes you feel like you might be losing it a little when you're like, wait, are we all just doing this? We're all just okay with this?
Yeah.
When you look around at a retail job or wherever and you're just like, how long have y'all been putting up with this?
I mean, I remember a job that I had where afterwards, occasionally when it would just be at its height, me and my coworkers would go and just like sit at a bar and like drink and just bitch for literal hours.
The happy hour bitch fest, yes.
Yeah, the happy hour, like, and I think those are like the things that made it possible for me to keep working, just because like that kind of commiserating about like how rough it was,
There's nothing like bad job trauma bonding.
Yes. Oh my God.
Very specific type of like red badge of courage relationship.
Yeah.
There's really nothing like it.
But it's just an office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there will always be like the one place that's ruined for you forever because all you did there was sit and be miserable about your job. You're just like, I can't go back to a Chevy's. Like, no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
seen the sausage be made.
Right. And I'm like, that was where I got $3 chicken tenders and complained about the office. I just don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in terms of kind of who this is for, whoever's kind of experienced that struggle, if any of that was relatable to you, absolutely. I'd also say if you enjoy anything in the realm of these kind of grim fairy tale stories, I think that most of us who do are always kind of like a vacuum for more, and really good, interesting modern takes on it. The last question, I believe from me, and then we'll turn it over to the chat, so y'all start prepping some questions that you might have, is what are you hoping that readers can take away from reading this?
Unions.
Yeah. Yeah. Unions. Unions. Do it.
Unions are good. Mobilize a task force. Work together. Be kind to each other.
Yep. Raise the minimum wage.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's a great takeaway.
Workers of the world unite.
Right.
I think also like be kind to yourself. Like we're all trying our best in like these like very flawed time, like and very hard times. Especially right now, where getting a job is notably harder for multiple reasons, and sometimes you sometimes just need to take the shitty job, and it's okay. It's like
Yeah,
we don't judge you, I promise.
It's especially cruel, I think, because in the shadow of COVID-19, what we are seeing is a massive amount of layoffs, and now these people being hired back as freelancers, so they don't get any benefits. They're only on contracts. They're on lesser pay, and or if not lesser pay, there's no more overtime as a freelancer. And I think that it's kind of the workspace is incredibly cruel in that sense, and just kind of this miserable machine meat grinder. And I think that we this isn't perhaps necessarily a moralistic tale, but it is simply a tale to just kind of reflect on what you've experienced as a person in the workplace, and to know that this is not it's not on you, it's on upending these systems as they exist, because corporations are not your friend, your boss is not your workplace is not a family, no matter how much they may insist it is.
the family promise is a terrifying one.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it
Don't
is.
take the devil's hand.
Yeah.
They promise free Friday, like free pizza Fridays. It's the devil. That's the devil's word.
You're absolutely right, and I've 100% been in those where they're like, no, it's just like we're more of a family, and we help each other out, and you're like, no, that means unpaid work.
Yes, that means unpaid work after your hours. That's exactly what it means.
That means I worked a job that like you get a raise every year, but it was only 25 cents raise.
Oh no. Oh, that's not a raise. That's not, you can't even keep up with inflation at that.
No.
That's not even dollars worth less by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely wild. And I think that this is such a great conversation piece. We're going to take some questions from the chat while they have time to put a few more in. I actually did have one more question. As somebody who loves fairy tales, like I am just an absolute fool for all things fairy tales, grim or non. I love a fantasy. I love a fairy tale. Do you have a favorite, it might be Rumpelstiltskin or not, but do you have a favorite of the fairy tales or grim fairy tales that inspires you?
I would say like one of my old favorite was Puss in Boots. It's a very fun dynamic, like adventure story. I think it's like one of those that's actually like kind of writing a line between like fairy tale versus actual published work that just become part of the kind of consciousness of fairy tales. But it's a fun story with some fun characters, and I actually would love to do a story based on that one day. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's so cool. That is an answer I never would have expected. I love that. I feel like I could have listed fairy tales for 15 minutes and never gotten to Puss in Boots. I love that. That's awesome. That's very, very cool. What about you, Nadia?
I am thinking.
Okay.
I yeah, I had a big book of fairy tales growing up, and I used to read all of them, and I definitely liked kind of the weirder ones.
Mm.
Um, there was one that I in fact I wanted to do for the anthology, but then we decided to do Rumpelstiltskin instead, which is Fitcher's Bird,
Mm.
which is about a sorcerer who essentially kidnaps like three sisters from their home and tells them not to enter a room, and they have to keep like an egg clean. And then
Oh, so it's kind of like Bluebird. Weird.
yeah, it's a little bluebirdy, and the
Weird.
first two
Yeah.
sisters were like cut into pieces, but the third sisters figured out how to like trick him, and then they like end up burning down his house with him inside, and I was like sick.
Yeah.
Girl
Yeah, I
boss.
don't know. Yeah. It's funny because I actually wasn't a horror kid at all. I was
Hmm.
really scared of horror. I was just like big baby, super anxious. Like I
Wow.
would like have full nightmares
Uh-huh.
if I saw a skeleton, you know what I mean, for days and days. But
Hmm.
I also was like drawn to it so hard. So I kept like looking and being scared and looking and being scared.
I think that when you can actually be scared of it, it makes it more impactful than being
Yeah.
desensitized to it,
Yeah. So
which is really
and then
cool.
at some point I think I don't know what happened, but like a flip switched in my brain and I was like, no, I do like this
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
That actually ties very well to a question from the Harry Horror Show in chat. He said, if given the chance to work on another anthology series, what's another body of mythos or collection of tales you would like to explore? That's something from the Grimm fairy tales that I'm sure would be lovely to explore if y'all did this again. But is there another kind of like body of work and a similar inspiration to the Grimm fairy tales you would be interested in retelling?
I think any type of like any body of folklore, like give me Arthurian myths, give
That
me
would be
Greek
cool.
mythology, yeah, right, give like a
Yeah.
horror Arthurian myth, and I'm not just saying this because I've seen Green Knight
The Green
twice
Knight.
already, but and I've like been screaming about it on Twitter for like for several days, but like genuinely like just kind of any like maybe even Viking mythology, like just give
Mm.
me any kind of like family of mythology and I will play.
Very fun. Kaylin Roar in the live studio audience here said, as an Arab myself, I'm really happy to see more Arab writers. It feels like Arab fantasy in general is extremely neglected. Do you have any interest in exploring those kind of themes?
I definitely do. I think that yes, our mythology has been really reduced, simmered down, even genuinely mistranslated. Um, and I really would love to do more into Arab folklore. I just find that resources in English are pretty terrible, and my Arabic reading skills are not great. So often what I'll do is I'll have to have I have those conversations with my mom who helps me translate. In fact, one of my upcoming books, which is the adult horror graphic novel Where Black Stars Rise, which is a retelling of The King in Yellow, not a retelling, it's just kind of a mishmash. You'll see. But my mom and
Sure.
I translated the poem, the poem about Carcosa into Arabic. And that was like long phone calls of being like, okay, what word do we want to use? Because like, what does this invoke rather than that? And I think that it is a long-term goal of mine, and I actually do have a concept that I would like to do very much, but it is going to require me and my mom doing the opposite of that, which is sitting down with texts in Arabic, which I think are the only real way to get a good sense, because and besides 1001 fairy tales, I want to know more about like the folklore that she grew up with in Palestine. So I think that that's kind of my process now for that idea, is that's going to be a thing that I have to kind of really do a lot of research with the help of my family. I would love to see more Arab mythology done properly, done researched, done non orientalistly. And I think that that was the kind of the thing that made Squire not have a magic system. Originally Squire we really did think about giving it a magic system, but then we realized that like, in fact, I kind of want to set a story in a fantasy version of the Middle East that has no magic whatsoever, and kind of, you know, to challenge maybe some of the conceptions that already exist in these genres. And then, you know, so I'll get back to magic.
Absolutely. There's tons of time for magic.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful, and having the opportunity to work with your family on it is such a delightful story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lovely. All right, we have a few more questions here. Rowan, have you ever been creeped out by your own work? This is from Frank Silv.
I don't know about. I guess if like I draw it. I'm the one who like looks up all the references, and it's sort of like, again, it's like I see where the Sasha's is made. Once you like see it all like lined out, it's kind of hard to be creeped out by it, I guess. Unfortunately, sorry, it's not a very fun answer. But yeah, I do find it a very fun thing to draw.
Of course.
Like a lot of the sequences with like for the story was very fun to draw.
I guess more than being creeped out by it, have you ever looked at something you made and just been like, oh damn, like, oh, that was in here, like that came
a
from
couple of
here.
times.
For me,
there's been a couple of times like, where did I get that idea? That's kind of a weird one.
We were talking before the stream started about like having nightmares and things like that, and I know even sometimes I have a nightmare and I'm just like, oh, that came from in my head. We made that up. That's not good. That's spooky.
Yeah. I know I did a good job if I ever send something to a friend and they're just like, why? And I'm like,
oh, my mom really doesn't like horror, and she's like very perplexed that I've basically gone this route. Like, so every once in a while I send her something like, how did this look? It's like, it's creepy. It's like, yeah, but is it good? It's like, yeah, but it's creepy. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm the only horror person in my family as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's got to be so interesting, of sharing your art with them and then being like, ah. I have another question from the chat. Lindsay Dell asked, how has writing and illustrating stories like these changed how you yourself consumes the genre?
I find myself being a lot kinder in my criticism, and not just in terms of like, it's like softballing it because I don't know, I might know them, but it's more in terms of like, I try to like every criticism I have, and I have criticism, don't worry about that. I always go with the expectation of like, no matter how hard it is or how hard it was to make, it was 100 times more harder in practice and in reality. So I'm just very aware, especially of like, oh man, why didn't they just like, I don't know, have this happen? It's like, well, maybe the writer didn't really have that idea at first, or maybe like they had that idea and maybe the editor didn't like it, or maybe it was too similar to another story. It's being very aware of that kind of situation when it comes to the actual bread and butter, like the actual work of making comics or movies or animation.
It's like how well you treat a server once you've worked at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look back at people like, you better tip well.
Yeah.
What about for you, Nadia? How has that changed how you consume the genre?
Well, I think that, you know, I definitely have become a lot more appreciative of craft, I guess. It's just that like when I'm watching something, I'm more like, oh, that was so cleverly done, you know, rather than just like, oh, like that, like the way they did that was so good, like more than just being like, oh, that's cool, you know what I mean? And I know that, and it seems like that would kind of take the magic away, but I would say that actually it makes it a little stronger when I see something that I'm like, oh, I can feel the love put into this. It's much more moving.
Would you have like, I feel like being a part of these kind of projects and like, and being part of these kind of industries, you understand how much of a miracle anything getting done is.
Yeah.
Let alone being good.
Yeah.
I
Like
bet.
I definitely like want things to be good, and I'm not happy when things aren't good. But I guess like, you know, like a person. But But I did see a tweet today that was like, bad movies are bad unless I like it, and then it's camp, and I'm like, that's how I live.
Yeah.
100%.
That's my whole life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I think that it's definitely given me a lot more, empathy and love, and also it's just made the way I look at stuff different. It feels, when something transcends, it feels more magical than ever now.
That's really wonderful. Well, that is an excellent place for you both to get to the rest of your day. Really quickly, before you go, can we just go down the line? And if you'll just tell us where to find you on the internet and anything else that you want to hype up about. We'll start with you, Nadia.
Sure. So you can find me on Twitter, which is at Nadia underscore Shammas underscore. And I have a website under my name too, nadiashammas.com. And I have Ms. Marvel Stretched Thin, which is a middle grade original graphic novel featuring Kamala Khan of Ms. Marvel, coming out end of
Very
September.
exciting.
Yes, thank you very much. Squire, which is my YA Middle Eastern fantasy Goliath, is coming out in February 2022. And then finally, my first adult horror graphic novel, it's a cosmic horror, Where Black Stars Rise, is coming out with Tor Nightfire in August 2022. So I guess keep an eye for pre-order links because they are coming.
Ooh, quite the year ahead of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
2022
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And Rowan, where can we find you on the internet? Anything you want to hype up about?
The benefit of having a name like Rowan Maccoll is that if you just look me up, you probably find me pretty easily. But I'm at Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Tumblr still, God forbid, at Skulking Foxes, like Skulking Foxes. And there is Nightmare Savannah, which is coming out soon. I think you can pre-order off of the Mad Cave website, so that's a good place to look. YA horror, fun stuff, fun stuff. I have a webcomic if you guys want to check that out. It's a mystery horror romance thing because I can.
Yes, to all three.
It's called Kingfisher. You're able to find out again probably from my Twitter pretty easily. I post about it a lot because I work hard. Then I'm also working on a short story that's gonna be part of the short box. If you guys know about that, the short box sale. Mm-hmm. And so that's coming out also in October. So if you honestly, just follow my Twitter. You'll probably get all those again.
There you go.
I'm very excited for the short box story.
Oh, how lovely. Well, I can't wait to check it out as well. Links are in there. Congratulations to both of you on honestly such a wonderful piece. And thank you for sharing it with us and also taking the time and come and chat with us. People will be looking for the extra Easter egg.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, y'all, we are going to take a quick BRB. I'm going to throw that trailer to you again because it's fun enough. I'd like you to watch it again. And then we'll come back and we'll do a little housekeeping on the way out. We'll see you in just a moment. Nadia, Rowan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, hi, hello, we're back. How much fun was that? I had so much fun doing that, y'all. Thank you for being here for my first episode of Transmissions from the Cave. So cool of you. Nadia and Rowan are icons. I'm obsessed. If you have not pre-ordered yet, the link is popping up repeatedly in chat. Hello, my name is incredible, but also every story in it is an absolute hit. I had such a joy reading it. Seriously, every piece, every time I thought that I had like picked out my favorite, I would get to another and be like, oh wait, no, maybe this one. Oh wait, no, maybe this one. And there's such an incredible group of creators attached to it that you get to experience, and I'm sure some of them for the first time, which is so lovely. We'll wrap up with a couple of things. One, I wanted to tell you about Bink. Bink is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to assisting booksellers in need. The Bink Foundation grew out of a wish for bookstore employees to establish a fund to help their colleagues experiencing unexpected financial crises. So Bink is dedicated to assisting bookstore and comic store employees across the United States in their greatest times of need. You can do !Bink or !Bink info for information to donate and support it. It is a lovely cause that's near and dear to our hearts here, and we would love it if you would check it out and get a little more information about it and show some support if you can. Of course, it is an unprecedented time of difficulty for people who are working in any position, but retail positions and things where people haven't been able to do quite simply and foundationally their job. So showing support to keep these people afloat and to keep the art that we love being able to be received. So check that out if you can. We would love it. Of course, as we mentioned earlier, this week you have Battle Cats issue 2 by Mark London out in stores, and next week you'll be able to pick up the full volume of They Fell from the Sky by Liesl Buenaventura. So make sure that you check that out. And you know what, y'all? Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be sure to follow Mad Cave Studios on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Links will be in the chat for everything. Thank you to the team, Allison, Chris, Manny, Frank, Mark, Gio, and the rest of the Mad Cave crew for being here. In previews this week, we also have A Bountiful Garden, issue 2, Battle Cats, volume 3, issue 4, Knights of the Golden Sun, issue 14, Woven Heart, issue 8, which is the first issue of volume 2, and then Grimm Tales from the Cave is available October 27th with the story Hello, My Name Is, of course, by Nadia and Rowan. So make sure that you check those out, you wonderful sweet beans. Thank you for being here. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I'm around. I do things. Our next show will be next Wednesday, a week from today, live at 11 a.m. Pacific once again. You can also go back and check out the VODs of previous shows that we've done here if you want to see some more wonderful things from talented creators. And we will catch you next time. Bye, friends. If my mouse would work, that is. Just kidding. You sick of me yet? Just kidding. We do have a giveaway. I lied and I didn't do the giveaway. I'm a monster. I'm a monster? Ha! Gotcha. Ha! Gotcha. Hey, let's do a giveaway. What should our word for the giveaway be? Let's do all one word, Hello, My Name Is. Let's do that as the giveaway. Of course, we are giving away the poster, which is the cover of Grimm Tales from the Cave. You will type that all as one word. Wait for the mods queue. They will run that as a Nightbot giveaway. Get that beautiful poster. You got to see the artwork, of course, when we played you the trailer earlier. So, Hello, My Name Is, all one word, just like that, will be your giveaway queue. Mods, how are we doing? Is that let me know when I can tell everybody to enter and start filling the chat with it. Just kidding, y'all. Totally gotcha. What do you think I forgot? I would never. I have stuff to give away. What do you think? I'd let you go without something free? Did I? Of course you didn't. Do we have a cue from the mods? Yeah, psych! Ha! You got. Don't worry about it. Got free stuff to give away. Thank you all for being so kind and showing so much support today. again, I see so many lovely friends, familiar names in chat. So thank you for showing up for something new and exciting. Yeah, it's the first show, y'all. It's the first one. We get to do this every week, which is very exciting, talking with more wonderful, talented people. Frank, do we have a giveaway running? Just waiting on that giveaway to activate so we make sure that y'all get entered before we call it for the day. You got doofed, exactly. Also, I see those bat emotes in chat. We love to see it. Thank you. So appreciated. Yeah, they have those occasionally. It'll give you guys time to go pre-order. In the time that we're hanging out here waiting for the giveaway, don't worry, I'll yell when it's time. You can go pre-order if you haven't. And also go check out some of the back catalog. There's so many wonderful things on the website. I know that once I got onto the Mad Cave website, I was like, uh-oh, I don't do anything else now. Thank you. Thank you all so much. So appreciated. All right, I'm going to take just a quick, probably BRB then to check in on this giveaway and make sure that we got some free stuff coming for y'all so that we can activate it here. We will be back in just a second, y'all. All right, there it is. Solved. Solution. Don't worry about it. We found them. We got it. Your giveaway is going right now. Type in hello, my name is, all one word in the chat. You will be entered to win. This is the cover art of Grimm Tales from the Cave. It is such a lovely piece of art that would look lovely on your wall. Get something spooky for yourself as a treat. All right, everybody enter, and then we will, of course, announce the winner at the end of this. So get those entries in, obviously. In the meantime, have you gone and followed Nadia and Rowan yet? I hope that you have. It would be lovely if you did. They have so many cool things coming up. I'm looking forward to so many things they're doing. Other things you can do in the meantime is go and check out Bink as well. It's a lovely organization that I'm happy to be aware of now and be able to support. Very excited about that. Yeah, they seem so awesome. Follow them instantly. I love to hear that. They do sound really, really awesome, don't they? My goodness. Followed them quite a ways back. Heck yeah. We love to see that support. The link for Bink is in there. Once again, that is deeply fun to say. All right, type it up now. If you already have it typed, do it again. There you go. All right. Hello, my name is in the chat. Do people need to type it once more if they've already typed it in? To get that giveaway going. All right, y'all. I'm excited for you. I'm a little jealous. It's a beautiful piece of art, obviously. I'll be honest with you. It's a good vibe. Of course, that poster also was designed by Andrea Muti. It's beautiful. I wish I had a photo of it to show you all. Of course, it is up on the website. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll be able to see it on your pre-order. Okay, so yes, the answer was yes. You need to type it in again if you haven't already typed in hello, my name is. Even if you typed it beforehand, type it in once more. It can't hurt. I'd rather you get entered than miss it, all right? There you go. Hello, my name is. All one word. Also, so you say it enough that you remember the name of the story so you can get hyped to go and read it. It really is. It is the story that made me like gasp when reading through the entire book. It was the one that caught me really, really in a cool, special place, which is so lovely. I feel very fortunate to get to speak to Nadia and Rowan about it. That's lovely. I'm not kidding. I was literally like calling a friend. Like, I'm so obsessed with this. I need you to read this. I need you to get your hands on this right now so that we can yell about it together. And hopefully that'll be us. If you're not in the Mad Cave Discord, we do have a Discord community as well. So in doing so, I believe we have an open Discord community. We can chat about it, or you can chat about it with us on social media. Jump on Twitter, jump on Instagram, and tell us what you think once you get your hands on it, once you get a chance to read it. I'm very much looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it once you get a hold and get a chance to read. All right, it looks like everybody has entered. We'll give it just a second to pull up a winner for your giveaway. The mods will announce that here, and I'll make sure that it is announced out loud here as well, so you don't miss it, just in case. I hope that everybody got a chance to enter to win this beautiful print. And if you do so, mods, could you let us know in the chat what their next step is for the winner? For the winner of this giveaway, let us know what the next step will be in collecting their prize. Who they should be messaging, where they need to go, what they need to do to get their sweet free stuff. That would be awesome. All right, and the link's right there in chat as well for Bank, y'all. I see some last minute entries sneaking in. Send it to me, Manny already has my address. Have you won giveaways before? Have you won anything sweet? Can you tell us about it? Is it a secret? Can I know? I'd love to know. I'm just here to collect everybody's secrets. All right, the winner will need to send a direct message specifically to Manny right there in the chat with the mod sword. Do we have a winner? Are we ready to announce? I think we have all our entrances. Can I tell them who won? I want to congratulate somebody. Very exciting. Just a few? Well, what have you won? Tell me about it. Just a few? Are you out here just like collecting stuff? That's tight. Drum roll, please. Yeah, right? Oh my God, that little drum roll emoji is perfect. That's absolutely excellent. Does anybody else have a little drum emoji? I don't think I have any drum emotes on here. If not, please do spell out. Do your best to spell that for me. Art from Sweeney, the Nottingham Mad Cave Spotlight exclusive, and 2 trade paperbacks. Oh, that's awesome. You got quite the collection. That's very, very cool. I think that Kaylin Rohr might have knocked that out of the park of spelling a drum roll. All right. Manny, do we have somebody to yell about? Let's roll it. Yeah, right? Nightbot just fell asleep. It's fine. Hey, everybody needs a nap sometime. Nightbot's busy unionizing. Nightbot listened to the advice of the creators of Hello, My Name Is. All right, Niam Birch, we have a winner. So very exciting. Congratulations on your win. Shoot Manny a message. That's very, very important so we can get your information to send you your prize. Hey, congrats. And thank you once again for being here. I adore you all very much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, friends, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.